I'd like to know what you would both like to tell us about the last 16 months of COVID. What let's actually, what are the facts that are absolutely clear, no confusion? I know there's a lot of people with different opinions, different thoughts, different beliefs, but is there anything that is emphatically clear that we should all understand and have learned from the last 16 months about COVID? Is there anything else we should learn about how to protect ourselves from not getting it? Is there anything that you want to say that you believe is pretty much clear, hardcore information? And I'm saying clear, hardcore because there's so many people with so many different thoughts and attitudes, and we're not really picking sides on anything. We want to know the truth. So, from all your research, everything you know, is there anything you want to share with our audience from everything you know about the last, since, February of 2020 until now, about COVID that you think we should be aware of?
I know Dr. Popper's got some very strong feelings that I'll be very interested in hearing. I'll just lay out the basic foundation that we know to be true. My heart still aches for the missed opportunity back a year ago, February. How wonderful it would have been if our health professionals got on TV, looked right at the camera and said, look, this virus tears up people that are obese, diabetic, hypertensive, got a lot of comorbidities. Look, you're going to be hunkered down for the next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, whatever it is. Use this time, start eating healthy, start exercising, start dealing with your life situation to help reduce stress, emerge from this tunnel leaner, healthier, more resistant to disease, and smarter about how to navigate in our society. And if you do get it, hopefully, it won't be a terrible ordeal for you. And the advice is still true. And however, we still haven't returned to the pre-COVID society that we had. Boy, how we took that for granted. But even now, for the next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, again, knowing what you know now and all the wonderful things that people are learning at this conference, use this time. Go into your kitchen, do the plastic bag commando move. Open the fridge, have an honest look about what's in there, and the fried chicken and the mayonnaise and the junk oils and all the processed foods, and look up at the cat up in the pantry there, and the cookies and the chips and the schmips in the bag. Close the bag and give it to whoever you like the least, but get it out of your house. Stop buying more of it, and man, start eating those salads and soups and veggies. Get outside and walk every day. Get health going in your life, and the virus will be what it's going to be. But you, at least, will emerge from this not only more resistant to the virus, but more resistant to getting a heart attack, a stroke, or prostate cancer, breast cancer, Crohn's, whatever it is. So the message that doctors have been giving since the beginning of time: get yourself healthy. But the COVID has really put an urgency to that, and the same advice holds today as it did back a year ago, February. So let food be thy medicine, and the same lifestyle be your medicine. Best health insurance I know
I want to say a couple of things. I think, first of all, I echo everything you said. I think that we've had a missed opportunity here. I also think that one of the terrible things about COVID, and Steve, you asked what I think, and I'm going to tell you what I think, but I want to frame this a little bit. I have had some very strong opinions about this, but what I did something a little bit different. I have armies of attorneys and epidemiologists and virologists and public health officials and public health professors and mathematicians and statisticians, because I'm suing everybody. I think everybody knows that by now. We filed a lawsuit against, our goal is to file a lawsuit against everybody involved in this. And so this isn't really a matter of opinion. It's a matter of sorting through factual information using a filter. And we've always done that, by the way. We've tried to get away from the he said, she said, this study, that study, somebody says, the expert says, and say, listen, if you're going to play football, you have to have rules of the game. You can't just run up and down the football field for an hour and then at the end say, let's sit down and try to figure out who won. Well, so the quarters are 15 minutes and you have to, the first down's 10 yards. And if you're going to kick a field goal, it has to go through the post, right? So you start applying that here, where we just look at factual information and filter it objectively, and it's very clear that what we're dealing with is a form of medical tyranny that's been escalating for a very long time. And I want to point out some things that I know are a little bit controversial, but I don't think we can leave them off the table. Medical tyranny is when a state says you have to give your child 57 vaccines before you can enroll her in school. That's medical tyranny. Parents should be making that decision. Medical tyranny is when a psychiatrist says you must give your 5-year-old Risperdal, or we're going to call Child Protective Services because he has a behavior problem. I think parents know what to do for their kids, and force medicating a 5-year-old. This goes on all over the country every day. It's been going on for decades, right? So what we're seeing right now is the full explosion of this, where the medical system has just gone berserk. And it is imposed, the cure cannot be worse than the disease. I think that's something all people in public health should adhere to. But the cure has been worse than the disease. The Centers for Disease Control head, Robert Redfield, last year testified in front of Congress that 25% of all children in the United States, adolescents, were considering suicide at one point in time or the other. That is not a wake-up call for us to do something different. And nothing different has happened. In other words, this guy makes an announcement to the United States of America on national television. And everybody keeps doing the same thing that led to that. It's unconscionable. And the worst part about it is that I think, by our estimation, about 2/3 of the country agrees with me, and about 1/3 of the country doesn't, which means that at some point in time when there really is a bad crisis, bubonic plague has hit, you walk out of your house, you're going to be dead on the sidewalk. I sure would like to know about it if that was happening. I'd stay home. But I think what people are going to do is say, you know what? That was one big false alarm. And trust in public health has completely gone. And that is extraordinarily concerning to me, because trust in public health is a necessity for society. So we have a lot of work to do. We've got to get to the bottom of this. We've got to make sure that these things never happen again. And along the way, we need to tell the truth about this, because what are we doing putting, school systems around here put 2 masks on children. The death rate in children right now, the death rate in children for COVID is so low that it registers as 0%, statistically speaking. So what are we doing putting 2 masks on children and making them want to commit suicide? I'm just interested in the answer to that question. So what we have here is a bad situation all around. And to your point, Dr. Klaper, there are more people who are fatter now, back to drinking alcohol now, back to taking drugs now, back to eating cookies and potato chips to just try to keep themselves sane. Now, everything that you talked about has gone backwards during this period of time, because even people who know better are doing worse because of the stress from this situation. So this is a colossal failure of public health. And I think that what we have to do, again, is apply the rules. I've told people, I posted the information. It's in my book, COVID Operation. It's all there for everybody to see. So let's have a discussion about factual information so that we can do better next time, because we can't do any worse. We have to do better than this next time.